All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to do something pretty amazing. We're going to teach a computer how to talk. Seriously, we'll jump right in with your very first line of Python code, and you'll walk away with the two most fundamental tools you'll ever need. One to talk to the computer, and one to talk to other humans. So let's get started.
So let's just start with the most basic idea, right? How in the world do you actually make a computer talk? How do you get it to show you something? Anything? A result from a calculation, a message, or even just a simple, friendly hello?
Well, in Python, the answer is surprisingly simple. It all comes down to one single command, the print function. You can think of this as the tool that literally gives your computer a voice. It's how you get it to speak directly back to you.
All right, section 1, your first command. Let's do this. We're about to write our very first command. And, no pressure, but it just so happens to be the most famous, most iconic line of code in the entire history of programming.
And here it is, print hello world. That's it. This one single line is a direct instruction to the computer. You are literally telling it, hey, see this text? Put it on the screen. And just like that, boom. With that one command, you are officially a programmer. Welcome to the club.
Okay, so what's actually happening here? Let's break it down. First, you've got print. That's the command, the action you want to perform. Then you have the parentheses. I like to think of these as a container, kind of like a bucket. It holds whatever you want to print. And finally, inside that bucket, you have the string. That's just the fancy word for the text inside the quotes. It's the exact thing you want to see on the screen. And this is what you get. The computer does exactly what you told it to. Perfect. But notice something else? It's subtle but important. After printing Hello World, the cursor jumps down to the next line. The computer's already waiting for your next instruction. That's a really handy little feature that's built right in.
Okay, so we can make the computer talk. That's awesome. But what if we want to be a little more artistic? What if we want more control over how things look? Like, how do we make it print things on different lines?
Well, for that, we have a little secret weapon. It's this thing, \n. Now, this is key. This isn't text that actually gets printed out. It's more like a hidden command, what programmers call an escape sequence. You can basically think of it as a way to press the enter key right in the middle of your text.
And just look at the difference it makes. On the left, without it, everything's just jammed together on one line. But on the right, by just slipping that tiny n in there, you completely change the output. You forced a line break. It's the exact same print function, but now you're giving it much more precise instructions.
All right, next up, let's talk about joining words together. This is a super powerful technique. What if you have different bits of text and you want to, glue them together into one single message? How do you do that?
This process has a fancy name, string concatenation. But really, all it means is sticking text together. And the tool we use for this is the plus symbol. Now, this is super important to get right. When you use a plus sign with numbers, it adds them. But when you use it with text or strings, it just glues them together, end to end.
So with that in mind, what do you think is going to happen here? We're telling the computer to print hello plus world. What do you think you're going to see on the screen? And, surprise, you get hello world. Look at that, what's missing?
Yeah, the space. This is a classic beginner's trap, but it teaches a valuable lesson. The computer is extremely literal. It did exactly what we told it to do. It glued the O from hello right onto the W of world. It doesn't assume you want a space.
So how do we fix it? It's actually super simple. We just have to be explicit and add the space ourselves. See here? By just adding a space inside the quotes after hello, we get the nice, clean hello world that we were expecting all along.
Okay, so we've been totally focused on talking to the computer, right? Giving it commands. But you know what? Great programming isn't just about that. It's also about communicating with people, other programmers on your team, or, let's be honest, your future self, who's going to look at this code in 6 months and have no idea why you did what you did.
And that is where comments come in. In Python, the moment the computer sees this symbol, the hash symbol, it just ignores everything after it on that line. It becomes completely invisible to the code. It's a note, a reminder, an explanation meant only for human eyes. It's literally like being able to put a little sticky note right inside your code to explain what's going on. And you can see a couple of common ways to use them here. You can have a comment on its own line, which is great for explaining the chunk of code that's coming up next. Or you can have what's called an inline comment, which is a shorter note that sits right at the end of a line of code, just to add a quick bit of context. So when you run this code, what happens? The computer does its thing, it prints the number 10, but it completely ignores our helpful little notes. It doesn't see them, it doesn't care about them, and that's exactly what we want. They're not for the computer, they're for us.
So let's wrap this up. In just a few minutes, you've picked up your first two absolutely essential programming tools. You've got the print function, that's the computer's voice, how it talks back to you, and you've got the hash symbol for comments, that's your voice, how you leave notes for other humans. So there you have it. You've taught a computer how to speak. The big question now is, what are you going to make it say next? This is just the beginning, but honestly, the power to create, to build, to communicate, it's all in your hands now. Thanks for watching.